All right, Gail, break this down for me. It seems quite interesting. As the days go by, more and more people who were interviewed by the ABA, whose opinions were not included in that letter, have been coming forward to say we spoke very positively of him.
That's right. This is another disturbing moment brought to you by the left, originating on Capitol Hill. And I think it's really important in this situation to reiterate the words that Senator Cruz spoke during this hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee. He said it's laughable and ludicrous that the ABA would say that Van Dyke was not worthy. This is a man who not only was Solicitor General of Montana, he was also Solicitor General of Nevada. And that was a light moment in his hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee when Senator Cruz noted that Van Dyke had one-upped him by being a solicitor of 2 states, unlike Senator Cruz, who had only been Solicitor General of Texas. This is a man, Van Dyke, went to Harvard Law School. He graduated with high honors. He was an editor of the Harvard Law Review, which is a great honor. He practiced at one of the foremost law firms in D.C., and he also clerked for Janice Rogers Brown, who is a D.C. Circuit appellate judge. So it is outrageous and ridiculous and unfounded, totally lacking any evidence whatsoever for the American Bar Association to say that Van Dyke is not qualified. And I also want to point out, too, that the ABA released this letter the night before the hearing. Van Dyke received it at 7 p.m. And as you well noted in the description of this discussion that we're having, Van Dyke said that this was not reflective at all of the relationships that he's built since he's been practicing law. And I was lucky enough to be watching the hearing as it happened, and Senator Graham, Senator Cruz, Senator Mike Lee, Senator Hawley, all of these gentlemen, in talking about this nomination by President Trump, they talked about the people who had worked with Van Dyke, thought he was an excellent lawyer, a superb advocate. And I think that that moment when essentially the ABA was calling him a terrible smear, that Van Dyke broke down and became very emotional. I think that just shows how outrageous this whole process has become. It's become so politicized.